Welcome to S&P Sports. This is part 3 of our AFC preview. Today we're going to be talking about the AFC West. Last year, standings were Denver finished first with 13-3, 6-0 in the division. Second was San Diego. They finished 7-9, 4-2 in the division. Oakland was 4-12, 2-4 in the division. And Kansas City was a 2-14, 0-6 in the division. The only playoff team out of the AFC West was the Denver Broncos, and they lost in the divisional round to the Baltimore Ravens. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome back. So we're going to start today's discussion about the AFC West with the Denver Broncos. The key addition I have for the Denver Broncos is wide receiver Wes Welker. Any key additions you got, Ryan?
Key additions I have is Monte Ball out of Wisconsin being drafted in the second round. I think that and Wes Welker are the only big additions.
Awesome. In 2012, Denver had the 4th ranked offense, 5th in passing, and 16th in rushing. They had the 2nd ranked defense, though, so they were pretty balanced overall. So let's just jump right into it. It's Peyton Manning's second year in Denver. Last year, he threw for 4,659 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions, which I think is a lot better than what people thought he was going to do. You know, him and Adrian Peterson were neck and neck for that comeback player of the year. Do you think Peyton Manning's going to perform as well this year, Ryan?
Absolutely. I think with the addition of Wes Welker, he only gets better. I mean, now that's a third target that he has. When they had Demaryius Thomas and Eric Decker, that was 2 guys. And now you have to cover 3 guys plus tight ends. So Manning's going to be able to spread the ball around.
Yeah, but just like in Indy, you know, he had a really good regular season, and then he fell short in the playoffs to the eventual Baltimore Ravens, who won the Super Bowl. Do you think Peyton finally gets a second ring this year?
Yeah, I've got the Broncos being the best team in the regular season, but like you said, that's what Peyton Manning's motto is. You know, he's the regular season king, and then just can't get it done in the playoffs. But you know, to his credit, it wasn't his fault really that they lost that game. It was a blown assignment in the defensive secondary that cost him that game. But he did throw that costly interception in overtime. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can get past that and if they can move on to the playoffs.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited to see how Wes Welker works out in Denver. I think he's going to be pretty explosive with Payne, and it's going to be reminiscent of back when he was in Indy with Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. So I think that'd be pretty exciting. The Denver Broncos got rid of Willis McGahee, which I have no reason why, because he was a pretty solid running back last year. But they did draft Monte Ball. Do you think he'll come out and have a solid rookie year, Ryan?
Oh, definitely. The Broncos rushed a lot inside the 10-yard line last year, and I see them getting there again this year with Monte Ball. I mean, he had the college record for touchdowns at Wisconsin, so, I mean, he knows how to get in the end zone. He's a big, strong back, so I look for him to be an every down back, and they're not going to shy away from giving him the ball down the goal line situation.
Yeah, definitely. Last year, Denver had the second-ranked defense, as I said earlier. Do you think they can keep up with that defense, even though they're going to lose Von Miller, and they lost Elvis Dumervil?
Yeah, the Elvis Dumervil is going to be a big loss. And Von Miller, you know, it's only for 4 games, but, you know, that's going to be 25% of the season, so they're going to miss some for that. But I think they're going to be able to overcome it. I mean, it's going to be hard to pass against them. They've got 2 top-notch cornerbacks in Champ Bailey and Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie out there on the corner. So, you know, when Von Miller gets back, that defense is just going to be really stacked, and it's going to be hard to score against them. They only allowed 18.1 points per game last year and had an average margin of win of 12 points. So they pretty much blew everybody out of the waters, and I see them doing the same this year, especially in the division. Nobody in their division had a winning record last year, so it makes it easier for them to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to watching Peyton in Denver. You know, it still sucks to see him in that uniform, but it's still fun to watch him. So stay tuned. Next, we're going to be talking about the San Diego Chargers. All right, the next team we're going to be talking about, the AFC West, is San Diego Chargers. The key additions I have for San Diego are running back Danny Woodhead and linebacker Dwight Freeney. They had do you have any key additions, Ryan?
Nope, I have no key additions for them other than what you mentioned.
Okay. In the offense category last year, they were the 31st offense. They had the 24th passing offense and the 27th rushing offense. However, they did all right on the other side of the ball. They had the 9th ranked defense in 2012. So, how do you feel about the San Diego Chargers this year, Ryan?
San Diego Chargers have always been that team that you think is, really got a lot of talent, and then they just end up not performing at all, whether it be coaching or whether it be injuries or just underperforming, and that's what they've been for years. Phillip Rivers is supposed to be the next big thing. I remember when him and Peyton Manning used to battle it out, and then when Drew Brees got traded, it was going to be the Phillip Rivers show, and then he had some good statistical seasons, but, they never got done in the playoffs. And then now, recently, he's just been slipping. It's the second year in a row he's been under a 90 QB rating. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can pull it together.
Yeah. Last year he threw for 3,606 yards, 26 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. The Chargers haven't made the playoffs since 2009. Norv Turner's not there anymore, so maybe that'll help them. They hired Mike McCoy, and it's his first head coach job. So, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I think Phillip Rivers needs to get back to the playoff, or else he's going to be starting getting questioned by the San Diego fans, I think. And, yeah. Anything else for the Chargers?
They've got Ryan Matthews, who was supposed to be a really good running back for them, but he's just been very injury-prone. He had more broken collarbones last year than touchdowns. So they added Danny Woodhead, which I think Danny Woodhead's going to become a big star for San Diego once Ryan Matthews doesn't pan out. Wide receiver core, it's decent. They got Malcolm Floyd and Denario Alexander. And they also have Robert Meacham, but Robert Meacham had his lowest statistics in receiving than he had his entire career, and that's what happens when you leave Sean Payton's offense. Sean Payton is, obviously a way better coach than Norv Turner, and now Norv Turner's out of a job. So Mike McCoy was offense coordinator for Denver last year, so he likes to throw the ball. So I think Mike McCoy's going to be able to use Robert Meacham a little better in his system.
Yeah, hopefully San Diego can make this division a little bit more competitive, but we'll just have to see. Stay tuned. Next we're going to talk about the Oakland Raiders. Next team we're talking about in the AFC West is the Oakland Raiders, and I'm going to be honest with you, we're not going to talk about them very long because the team's not really worth talking about.
The Raiders!
The key additions I have for the Oakland Raiders are kick returner, not wide receiver, Josh Cribbs, and defensive back Charles Woodson, who I think is 55 or so?
Yeah, but he's got a Heisman.
Yeah, that's true. Last defensive player to win it, right?
Yep.
Last year they had the 18th ranked offense, 8th in passing, 28th in rushing, and they had the 18th ranked defense, so I guess at least they're consistent there. So little we do have to talk about the Oakland Raiders is they have a new quarterback, Matt Flynn, who was backup for Aaron Rodgers for a while. It's his first year as a starter. Do you think he's going to make any difference in Oakland?
Well, it's hard to tell. The Seahawks traded for Matt Flynn after he had a big game. He started 2 games. In the 2 starts, he had 731 yards, 9 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. So, if you're going by just that, then he should be an awesome quarterback. But then again, rookie Russell Wilson started for him last year over him, and Matt Flynn only threw 9 total passes. So having a year off of not even playing, especially coming to a terrible team where you don't even have wide receivers that you can even name off the top of your head, it's going to be a difficult situation.
Russell Westbrook he probably would be a pretty bad quarterback.
Yeah, he'd probably start quarterback though for the Raiders.
Yeah, probably wouldn't pass the ball too much. McFadden played 12 games last year, had 707 yards and 2 touchdowns. Can he stay healthy for a whole season, Ryan?
Definitely not. In the seasons that he's played, he's never played more than 13 games, so health is always an issue. And this is surprising coming from a back who at Arkansas was a 2-time runner-up for the Heisman, so when he came to the NFL, you expected him to be the next big thing, battling Adrian Peterson every year for the rushing title. But, he's just, gone to Oakland, and like everybody else, he just dies. So I just don't see it happen.
Yeah. It's Coach Dennis Allen's second year, and the Raiders are last year were the 25th most penalized team. And the underlying question is, can they keep up with the division or the NFL in general?
No, they're going to move to the Big Ten Conference and hopefully have better success there, but I still don't think. Maybe the Conference USA. I'll be surprised if they win 4 games this year.
Yeah, I don't see them making too much of a splash, but you never know. It's unpredictable sometimes. But we're going to finish our talk with the Kansas City Chiefs, so stay tuned. We wrap up our talk in the AFC West with Kansas City Chiefs. The only key addition I have for the Kansas City Chiefs is quarterback Alex Smith. Do you have any key additions, Ryan?
Key addition, Andy Reid. Step up. I mean, he's one of the best coaches in the NFL, in my opinion, so I think that's going to be good.
Yeah, I think he'll eat a lot of barbecue in Kansas City. But the 24th ranked offense last year, 32nd, which is last in passing, and 5th in rushing, which is kind of surprising when I looked that up. Last year they had the 20th ranked defense. As we mentioned, Andy Reid's first year in Kansas City. I think you think he'll come in and have a positive impact on his first year?
Yeah, I think Andy Reid's actually in a better position than he was in Philadelphia. One, Philadelphia expectations are really high up there. 2, he never really had a decent quarterback. He had Michael Vick, who was injury prone, and then who's the backup then? Then you had Nick Foles, Kevin Cobb, who obviously now you see is not a good quarterback, even though everybody in Philadelphia wanted him to start. He's got Alex Smith, who's a very accurate quarterback. 70% completion percentage, which is amazing. And Alex Smith's playing with a chip on his shoulder after being sidelined after a concussion and then having his job just stolen from him by Colin Kaepernick. So I think the tandem of Andy Reid with Alex Smith is going to be one to watch this year.
Yeah, I remember that whole situation. It was kind of weird that he didn't get his job back just because he got a concussion. Kind of sucks. But, yeah, last year he threw 1,737 yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in 8 games played. And he's got a pretty good wideout in Dwayne Bode, who went 801 yards last year for 3 touchdowns, even though the Chiefs were just terrible. Do you think Dwayne Bode will benefit from having Alex Smith at the quarterback?
Yeah, I think Dwayne Bowe is the kind of guy that needs to get catches in to get in a groove. Last year quarterbacks for Kansas City threw 8 touchdowns, but they also threw 20 interceptions. So having that kind of ratio is not very good. It's a 2 to 5, 2 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. That's not a quarterback that a top wideout wants to play for. And one of the main reasons the offense was so bad on passing, but then so good on the running game is because when you don't have a passing game, all you're going to do is run. And when you have a running back like Jamal Charles, it's pretty easy to do, but statistics are kind of skewed a little because he had 7 games of over 100 yards, including that huge game against the Saints where he rushed for over 200, but he also had 6 games of under 60 yards. And he had 5 touchdowns last year, but he also had 5 fumbles. So, he's a good yardage back at times, but then he's not consistent, and he also turns the ball over too much.
Yeah, he had about 1,500 yards last year, so that's a pretty good year, but they still only won 2 games. So stay tuned, because next we're going to talk about who we think is going to win the AFC East.
Yep. Speaking of barbecue and Andy Reid, what's your thoughts on having a professional coach's Biggest Loser show? Got Andy Reid, Rex Ryan, and Charlie Weiss, who used to coach. Got some big guys.
Didn't Rex Ryan lose a lot of weight, though? This is skinny right now.
He looked like he lost a lot of weight.
Did you see that video of him, running with the Bulls?
Yeah, before the Bulls even got there, he hopped over the fence. I was so ashamed, but whatever. It's Rex Ryan. What do you expect?
Exactly.
To the predictions.
So we wrap up today's talk about the AFC East by predicting who we think is going to win the division. So I'll let you go first, Ryan.
Well, in this division, it's pretty simple. There's only one choice. That's the Denver Broncos. Last year they were the only team with a winning record in the AFC West, and this year, I see the Chargers, making a run. I feel like Chargers, like every year, I feel like they have the team that could, make a run for the playoffs, but they just seem to slip. But optimism says they might give Denver a run for their money. Maybe not a run for their money. Maybe like an early season scare. But I see Denver running away with this.
Yeah, I think Denver's going to win the division as well. And Chargers give them a scare. It's more likely going to be towards the end of the season because, for a while the Chargers didn't perform until November or December. So I think if the Chargers going to make any splash, it's going to be towards the end of the season. But I still think the Denver Broncos come out on top. They might lose maybe one or two division games, but at the end, I think they come out of the division on top. So that wraps up our talk about the AFC East, or AFC West, my bad. Stay tuned for part 4 of our AFC preview, where we talk about the AFC South.
Subscribe to tell your mom about me.
Yeah. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. And send us some emails. Maybe we'll answer your emails on air or something. Have a nice night.
Feedback is a must. Feedback.
Yes. Feedback.